What's up, everybody? So this week I made some new 5x7 originals on watercolor paper. I used acrylic inks and watercolors, obviously. And then I put together just some short little mini creations. They're 5x7s. I'm doing probably 20 or 30 of them, and then I'm going to list them on my brand new site coming very soon. So I went ahead and made a time-lapse video of this one. This is just a golden brown looking pansy that had some hints of purple in it. I thought it was really pretty, so I decided to make it into kind of more of a mandala figure. What I'm doing here is just drawing out the design, making sure it's even, and then outlining with a brown jelly roller pen in order to make some guidelines so that when I go in with watercolor and acrylic inks, I know where I'm going and I know where I want to go moving forward too. I come in and my goal here is to really put on a lot of layers. So I know it kind of looks weird when you add like dark browns and light browns and then you have like weird stains of violet, but those weird stains end up being sort of the first or second base layer that I do, and then I'm adding so much on top of it, it doesn't end up mattering, for anything more than like an underlying color. There's no like weird lines or anything in the finished piece. So I go in with my brushes and I'm just intensifying the purples on the outer ring. I use a variety of materials. I know this is watercolor paper, but I use very little watercolors in it. In fact, the only part where I used watercolor was for my browns because I didn't have any browns available in acrylic inks, which I love. If you haven't tried acrylic inks, they're just the best. They're super bright. They're potent. They have just like this nice intense coloring that I really don't think watercolors do. So I'm going in with a dark purple jelly roller now and just outlining some details. And even though this is kind of a mandala-esque piece, I'm keeping it really simple and not adding too much detail. In total, this piece took either 3 or 4 hours, so it's not a super intensive process, and I wanted it to be like that. I want it to be a little bit more simple. So I do have some zoom in little video clips here where you can catch some of the more intricate details of the piece. However, I did have eye surgery this week, so I didn't think that it would be smart to do too much as far as details go, because my eye gets tired a lot lately. You can see it's like pretty nasty looking. So taking that golden, it's actually calligraphy ink, I'm just painting it along the rim of the piece to really accentuate the outer petals and just to add a little bit of pop when the light hits. Once the piece is almost done, I use these acrylic inks to go in with, this is a brilliant yellow color, and I just go in and add a little bit more color on top of what I already have just to accentuate it and make the piece really pop. So here is a close-up of the detail. I'm almost done. It's got a beautiful transparency to it. The leaves almost look like you're looking through them. I was really pleased and really happy with how this one turned out. I ended up deciding to add a little bit more of a background shading color, so I cut out a piece of lined paper just to follow the outside of the mandala, sprayed on some acrylic inks. This is just a little bit of violet and brilliant yellow again, and I'm using the same colors that are on the inside of the piece to do kind of a wash on the outside, because I don't want the background to take away from the center of the image. One thing I've noticed with some of the art pieces I end up disliking is that they'll choose like blue for the background when they have like pink and brown flowers in the front, and there's no blue anywhere else in the piece, and so immediately your eye is drawn to the blue. It's a primary color. Your eye just goes bloop, and all of a sudden you're not looking at the art piece anymore, you're just looking at this blue background. So I try to avoid that and just make it very subtle and blend it into the background. So I will have a close-up here on the final piece once I've laid it flat to dry and flattened it back out with a wet sponge. Thanks so much. Hope you like the time lapse.